It was a very tough loss against Western, and I mean, it was a very good football game. We knew it was going to be that kind of a game going into it. They came out with a lot of energy, and I think they probably exceeded our energy early in the game, and then I think our guys got into the flow of stuff, and lo and behold, it comes down to one play at the end of the game. And, when we went through the stuff with our players, we talked about how close we are. We're 2 plays away from being 3-0. We're 1 play away from being 0-3. And so it's a fine line between success and wins and losses as far as what happens in a football game. But I'm very proud of the way these guys have continued to battle and the way that they continue to compete. And I think that those are going to be big things for us as we continue to move down the line.
And then looking ahead to Chadron State this weekend, going back on the road, another long road trip. Both road trips you have this year have been long so far. What do you know about Chadron?
Chadron is going to be an outstanding football team. They're in a similar boat as us. They're 1-2. They were one of the early conference favorites. They have played well. They've dug themselves a hole early in each of their games, and they've had to come from behind. They've had to fight. This last week, they were down basically again to Fort Lewis, and they come back and they had a chance to win it down the stretch. And Fort Lewis did put together a good drive to finish the game and to win the thing. So Chadron's going to be a very hungry football team, just like our guys. So I think it's going to be a highly competitive game. They're extremely well coached. They're going to be very good and aggressive on defense, and offensively, they're throwing the football exceptionally well, and they still have a much better ground game than what I think they've shown, simply because when they've got behind, they've thrown the football more. So I anticipate this being an outstanding football game this Saturday.
Questions?
Mason, last week between you and Reed, there was, I don't know how many times somebody had the back of your jersey and you guys were still grabbing quarterbacks and trying to grab receivers, and you're obviously getting used to being held a little bit and still have to fight through that?
Yeah, definitely getting used to it. I guess that's one thing. It comes down to want on the D-line. That's one thing that Coach Evo definitely pushes us, is a want or a drive to get back there, drive to get, drive finisher, stuff like that, sacks, big tackles for loss. It's one thing we want on the D-line, is we want to get those big plays to help out guys in the secondary, and especially the linebackers.
I know after the game you were talking to, I don't even know who it was now. It was a couple days ago. No, Darian was saying, you guys are just going in, hey, 3 and out, and really just trying to get that offense back on the field, because it was one of those things you knew what Western was going to do. It's just a matter of
stopping it
at the right time,
getting our guys on the field, and that's one thing we want to do on defense. Definitely is the 3 and outs, force them to punt the ball, give us pretty good field position, and then KJ back there, take the punt to the house. If not, set the offense up for success. So that's one thing we really want to push on defense: 3 and outs, and keep getting them 3 and outs. They ain't going to score, so that's the best thing to do.
Saying KJ, obviously your role is with everybody. Everybody's bracketing Peter, and you kind of knew that was going to happen this year. What's it done to your game? Because you've been very consistent all year.
I think it's kind of opened me up for some of the shorter throws, like the 5-yard outs, the quick ones that still convert our third downs, 3rd and 5, 3rd and short. So I think that's something I did a lot last year. I think now I'm starting to get the ball more, able to just catch it in the open space. I think that's what they're trying to do now, especially with defenses putting a safety over Peter along with that corner on him. It's opening a lot for not just me, but all the other receivers as well, and also running backs coming out of the backfield. So, it's tough to try to adjust, just because you never know exactly what a team's going to do based on film against other teams when other teams don't have a Peter on their team. So it's just like every week you got to come and see, all right, this is how they're going to play Peter. I got to adjust. I got to be able to make plays. Somebody else has to be able to make plays, or our offense isn't going to be rolling.
And you know that once you guys make those, somebody's going to have to cheat back over, and then it opens up Peter again, like we saw last week.
Exactly. So that's the hope for this offense, is just to be able to spread the ball around. That opens up our opportunity for big plays. If teams are just going to want to play deep and protect the deep ball, then we have more than enough plays that will get us open underneath and still produce finishing drives.
Coach mentioned that you guys are just a couple plays away from being 3-0 in the season, but being 1-2 heading into week 4, what's the mood and attitude of the team right now?
I think the attitude is everybody's mad, you know. No one expected us to be here at this point in the season.
Right.
It's been a while since any of us have ever been here at this point in the season, 3 games in. I just think that now it's kind of everybody's mentality is that we can't lose anymore. Conference, it's all conference from here out. So we had a gimme kind of with Eastern New Mexico with the first loss, who was supposed to be our learning experience, but we lost again. So it's kind of like, all right, so what do we have to do to be better? You know, the things we're doing right now aren't good enough. So it's just kind of like an attitude shift. Everybody's mad, but not at each other, you know, just at the fact that we're not who we're supposed to be, you know, who we think that we can be, who we've shown at times on the offense who we can be. We can be very explosive, and we just want to get to play a game that shows that the whole game, you know, just not a couple quarters in the second half or second and third quarter. We want to start the game fast because our defense thrives on our success, you know. They're playing well. They've been playing well the first 3 games, and the offense has been playing average. We've been turning over the ball where we've been giving the defense points, you know. So it's our job just to keep our defense off the field as much as possible, and the only way that's possible is if we just keep getting better as an offense and, you know, try to eliminate the 3 and outs that we've been having in the turnovers.
The phrase statement game gets thrown around a lot, especially in football. But being 1-2 right now, knowing that you guys are more talented than what your record shows, does that mean every game from now on is a statement game?
Exactly, every game is a statement game. I think Coach Martin brings it up before our games all the time. Teams are excited to play us. You know, they're excited to play CMU Mavericks. Just the passion that we play with on the field, combined with the success we've had in the past, you know, teams are looking forward to play us. So we have to be ready every week. No team is going to look to play us and say, okay, they might get us this week. We don't know. Every team's looking like, all right, we're going to beat Mesa. This is like our year to beat Mesa. So we have to see that and as a chip on our shoulder that this isn't that year, you know. We started off slow, but we can win every game from here on out, and I truly believe that we have the talent, the coaches, and the mentality to do that. So I think every game is a statement game, and that's how we're going to have to come in to be able to win the rest of the season out.
Coach, how close is this team from reaching its full potential?
You know, that's a good question because when we look at the tape, I think just what KJ was talking about, our players can see that we have not come close to our potential yet. And yet we're really close to being 3-0. I think what you're going to see is just what he's talking about. The intensity of our players and the focus is on being the football team we can be. And yes, you make adjustments according to your opponent each and every week, but the team that you're really competing against most is yourself. And I think our players see and understand just how good we can be. And they know that we've had mistakes. We can fix those things. All of the mistakes we've had are correctable and they are fixable. And I think our players are having a greater sense of urgency to get those fixed. And so I think that this football team can, just what he said, I think we have the ability to take one game at a time and win every game on our schedule. That's exactly what we're looking at. Right now we've got one game to worry about, and that's Chadron State. But I think our players know and understand that we have a chance to be a very, very special football team. And again, what makes me proud as a football coach is when you get a chance to sit and visit with these young men and see the accountability and responsibility that they're willing to take and look at it, and they don't worry about pointing fingers. They say, hey, this is what we can do. This is exactly what we're going to do. And just what KJ's saying, I know a lot of people are going to want to take away Peter. That's okay, because we got a lot of weapons on the offensive side. We got a lot of guys that are making plays defensively. And so as we put our things even more and more together, I think the ceiling is extremely high, and I don't think there's been any change as far as our expectations. Yeah, there's been some disappointment along the way so far. Trust me, that's it's tough to deal with. And the more you invest in something, the more it hurts. But at the same time, it also makes it that much harder to give up. And that's what we see in this football team. These guys are continuing to compete and they're continuing to get better. And I think that's exactly what you're going to see on Saturday afternoon.
Mason, you're one of the veterans on this team, and it's a pretty young defense and some new guys to the program. What are you, as one of the leaders on this team, kind of talking to the defensive guys about to get that quick start and to get that momentum going back your way?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is focus because, you know, having a younger team, they're more willing to goof off and do that kind of stuff during practice. one thing is getting them to focus in, lock in, say, hey guys, we got this to worry about this week. You know, you can do all that other stuff any other time in your life, but football is now. So that's one thing that's been kind of hard to get the new guys into, but like we said, we got a team that's willing to work, and a lot of the guys they've bought in, and we have a couple of freshmen on the defense. We got, you know, some sophomores, some other guys on the defense has really bought in. Practice is a whole different ball game than it used to be. I feel like everyone's fully invested in what we're trying to do this year, defensively and offensively. That's one thing.
KJ, can you tell me just a little bit about what it's like working with Aaron in the huddle and how he's been able to distribute the ball, move you guys down the field, and kind of work the offense?
Yeah, so me and Aaron, we came in same class, class of 2017. So we both redshirted. I think the thing with Aaron that's different is the first day of fall camp, our freshman year, we're in a room just across the hall, writing down plays. You know, we don't have to be. Fall camp's tiring, it's all day. But Aaron's the type of guy who's like, all right, we're gonna figure out the system, you know, because we're gonna be able to run it one day. So I think with Aaron, it's just he knows the offense very well. He knows what the coaches want to see. He knows the audibles. So you just know what you're getting with Aaron. You know, he knows where you're supposed to be. So that's when small instances happen where if you're not running your right route, exact depth, exact part in the field, you know, Aaron's going to tell you because he knows how it's supposed to be ran, and he's expecting you to run it that way. So, you know, with him in the huddle, as all receivers, we just know we got to be on point in everything because he's going to be on point in everything. And if we're not clicking on the same page, we're not going to be successful. So I think Aaron always pushing that, always pushing perfection, always making sure that we're doing the right thing, running the right route, right timing. I think that's what he really brings to the huddle, is just knowing what he's doing, knowing what we should be doing, and making sure that we're doing that.
Would you say that's kind of, you know, the work that you've put in now, you're seeing some of that success and some of that chemistry and really kind of working out in those games?
Oh yeah. From practices freshman year when he's my quarterback and we're going against other freshmen only, to where we're scout team or anything, me and Aaron have always had that connection, you know. There's a drive this past week where the defense jumped off sides, and usually it's all goes for us. But I knew we were on the 10-yard line, and I knew I could get inside the safety. And Aaron, he knew that too. We didn't say anything to each other. It's just immediately he knew that I was going to be able to get inside, and then we scored that play. So, I mean, me and Aaron have that type of connection where, all right, he knows where I can get to, and he knows he can give me the ball there. And it's not just me that he has that connection with too. I mean, he has to work on it with Peter because Peter's had Easton as his quarterback for a couple of years, and Easton and Aaron's quarterback style is a little bit different. But he's always trying to learn more. He's always trying to figure out, all right, this is how you're going to run that route? Okay, that's going to change how I'm going to throw it. So I think just being with him for 3 years now, it's just helped our chemistry a lot. And along with Bradley Toussaint, who's another redshirt sophomore, we've been throwing balls after practice since the beginning, you know, just making sure that we're on the same page with him. And that's what I'm saying, the question previously stated or asked was he just knows what he's doing, and he wants to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. So he's not going to go to just Peter and like, all right, like I'm trying to get you the ball, get open, because he wants to make sure all his other options are open as well. You know, so I think that's a good thing as far as going as spreading the ball around to multiple people. You know, you can't ever lock in on one person because he knows how to get to someone else.
Kind of exciting knowing you still got a couple of years left to get even better with that connection.
Yeah. Just the fact that, you know, we both still have, after this year, 2 more years of eligibility, it's crazy to think about. But right now, we're just thinking about how we can be great this year for our team, you know, for our seniors right now. Because the seniors right now are kind of like, they were like our big brothers, you know. The seniors before, they're a little bit older, a little bit more distance in the age gap. But right now, it's like you kind of build a little bit more of a bond with them. So it's like you feel like you owe it to them to send them out in their senior year. And also, you know, we want to have as many rings on our finger as possible. And right now we have 1 from our freshman year that we redshirted. So it's like we want to be a part of something great, you know, something that we know Mesa is capable of being a part of.